Hi there, students. This is our read aloud for 4th grade Rats, Chapter 3. This week we've been learning about characters' thoughts, words, and actions, and how they help me picture the character. We've been taking notes, so what I want you guys to do is take out your reading journal and go ahead and set yourself up for your notes. You're going to be doing this task for today. I will no longer help write out the notes, but I will guide you in possibly finding any of the thoughts, words, and actions as I read the story. If you forgot how to set up your notes, you can always refer to the previous 2 videos. We're just going to be setting it up the same way. So one section should be labeled T for thoughts, another one should be W for words, and the last one should be A for actions. Now, before we start reading, I want you to reflect on this question because it seems like there's a lot to being a 4th grade rat. So I want you to talk to your learning coach. What are some of the rules we've learned so far that makes you a 4th grade rat? So what might they eat? What might they say? How might they act? We've been given a lot of examples in Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, and I want you to think about that. Okay? Now, don't forget to take your notes as I'm reading this story aloud to you. Chapter 3, Number 1. Our schoolyard had 2 tire swings. The tires hang on ropes from a bar. You just plunk your rear end on a tire and swing. Or just sit, if you want. The tires hang almost to the ground. That's so the littlest kids in school can climb onto them. And that's the situation me and Joey walked into after school. We were going to powwow at the tire swings, but the 2 little kids were already there. They looked like 1st graders. Guess we'll have to find another place, I said to Joey. Guess they'll have to find another place, Joey said. Okay, I already found one example. The character did say something. He lifted one of the 1st graders out of his tire, plunked it on the ground, and sat in the tire himself. The 1st grader's face got red. His ears got red. "You rat!" he yelled. Joey nodded and smirked. "You got that right, kid." All eyes swung to me. Would I do the same as Joey? Okay, so this would be a perfect spot to stop and make a prediction. Do you think Suds would do the same thing as Joey? Do you think Suds would kick off 1st graders on the tire swings? Go ahead and make your prediction right now with your learning coach. The kid on the other tire looked feistier than her pal. From the look in her eyes, you might have thought she was a 10-foot cat and I was a mouse. Nobody got a chance to see what I would do because suddenly the kid bolted, tore out of there, and left the tire swaying on the rope. I realized she may have looked feisty, but she was scared. The other kid took off too, but not before he yelled, "Rat!" and spit at me. Missed by a mile. 1st graders aren't not good spitters. "Sit down," said Joey. I sat on the tire. "I don't feel right about that," I said. "About what?" "About kicking those little kids out." I kept seeing the girl's eyes as she ran. It was the first time anyone had ever been afraid of me. I couldn't figure out how I felt about it. Okay, so on this page there could be a couple examples that you could jot down on your notes. Go ahead and try and find at least 1 or 2 notes that you could take on Sud's thoughts, words, or actions. Again, feel free to pause the video if you need more time to take your notes. Page 24. Suds, Joey said. Remember the 4th of July at the park? What about it? I said. The talent show? Yeah? The bench? Huh? Joey got off his tire. He stood in front of me. The bench we were sitting on to watch the talent show that we didn't sit on for very long. Oh yeah. It was coming back to me. Some kids kicked us off it. 4th graders, he said. They dumped us off. They lifted one end of the bench real high, so you and me slid off onto the ground. I laughed, picturing Joey and me zooming down the bench like it was a sliding board. Man, I forgot all about that. I didn't, said Joey. He wasn't laughing. So, I said, now that I'm a 4th grade rat, I'm supposed to go around dumping little kids off benches? Is that it? There's more to it than that, he said. I started swinging. I'm all ears. Page 26. Joey got back on his tire. He matched his swinging to mine. Suds, he said, you're in 4th grade now. That makes you a rat. Stop fighting it. It's nature's way. I can find it if I want. Yeah? How? I thought for a minute. I'll do rotten in school. I'll do so rotten they'll have to flunk me back to 3rd grade. Forget it, dude. You can't go backwards. Time marches on. I liked being an angel. Joey stopped his swing. He reached over and stopped mine. Okay, so right here, Suds said something. He said something that you could jot down in your notes. Joey stopped his swing. He reached over and stopped mine. Suds, you ant brain. Angels finish last. What did you ever get out of it, huh? Did anybody ever say, oh, thank you, Suds. You're so nice. You're such an angel. Huh? Anybody ever say that? Not exactly, I had to admit. Your mother ever say, oh, Suds, you're such an angel. You don't have to clean your room anymore? Guess not. Are you allowed to stay up late? No. Are you allowed to go anywhere you want to yourself? No. Are you allowed to say no to your mom? Course not. He poked my tire. See? That's what I'm talking about. I'm glad you know what you're talking about, I said, because I sure don't. I'm talking about growing up, he said. I'm talking about not being an angel baby anymore. I'm talking about taking care of number 1 for a change. I felt stupid, but I had to ask. Who's this number 1? He pointed. You, dude. You're number 1 for you. I'm number 1 for me. Number 1. That sounded good. Maybe there was something to this rat business after all. But what about crying? I said. Why can't I cry or be scared of spiders? He got off his tire. He faced me. He was dead serious. Because real men don't cry. What's men got to do with it? Before you said it was rats that don't cry. That's right, he said. That's the whole point. Being a rat is the next step up to being a man. You want to be a man, don't you? Sure, I said. I guess so. Well, he said, you can't be a man without being a rat first. He poked me in the chest. That's what 4th grade is all about. Except for us, the schoolyard was empty. Parents were calling their kids in to dinner. We headed home. As I walked up the driveway to my house, Joey said, See ya, rat. See ya, I said. Before I reached the door, he rushed back. He grabbed my arm. Don't forget, he whispered. Say no to your mom. Okay, this is also a good point to stop and reflect. Do you think Suds will change? Do you think he'll be, in a way, disrespectful to his mom by saying no? Do you think he'll actually do that by the end of this chapter or next chapter? Okay, that finishes our read aloud for chapter 3. I want you to double check and make sure you took your notes. And if you weren't able to find more than one, you should have at least actually 2 or 3. But if you had any difficulty finding any, you can go back and reread chapter 3. I will have the chapter posted for you. That way you can go back and look at the pages. And what you're going to do for the ticket out is respond to this question. Do you think Suds should be a 4th grade rat? Why or why not? I'm going to go ahead and open up a discussion for you to post your opinion. I'd also like for you to respond to your other classmates' opinions as well. And that concludes our lesson for today. Tomorrow we will continue 4th grade Rats, Chapter 4.